And then they swap out the ending one episode.
And that was pure junk food. That was fan service.
Oh, yeah. My ovaries are still trying to recover.
Damn.
Yes. I had to go to the store and buy a new pair.
Damn! Those has cost a pretty penny.
Yeah, I do.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Any Chat Box episode 46. I'm your host, Gregory, and with us today, we have the whole crew today. The producer extraordinaire, Cass.
Yo.
We have the cinnamon roll of the group, Cami.
Hello, I'm curled up in blankets with a space heater right next to me. It is freezing on the East Coast.
That's what I've heard, actually. And we have across the pond, Jonathan Josar, aka Jojo.
Hello, I'm trying not to cough in everyone's ears today. I'm the one that's sick for a change.
You got this, I believe in you.
It's not me.
That's true.
Finally, you broke the curse.
Gave it to someone else.
Yeah. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to discuss the end of 2017 in terms of anime. First and foremost, we have several mini awards and a top 6 list for all 4 of our hosts. It should be noted that the idea and conception of this came from the sister podcast Saver Progress, so go give them a listen. I'm on that as well if you want to hear stupid video game shit.
The Rival Video Game Podcast.
The Rival Video Game Podcast, as it were. And to commemorate us being the Rival Video Game Podcast, we have our first mini award of the evening. We call this one I Lost My Controller Award, a gaming moment in anime that you thought was the best in 2017. Cami, what was your best video game moment?
So I took this a little bit out of the box, but this also is just the most relevant thing to video games to me with my experience of watching anime this year. And it was just an immediate reaction upon watching the show Made in Abyss, which is about, like, you know, exploring the deep depths of an unknown world and all of the varying, like, levels and how they're designed, the different floors. This just, and it's an adventure, like, kind of, it just screams like JRPG to me, like adventure JRPG. And when I was watching it with my boyfriend, we were both just like, wow, why isn't this a video game? Or like, is this going to have a video game adaptation? Again, I reference him all the time, but also again, shout out to Jeff Thu, Mother's Basement, who has a video, a whole analysis of why Made in Abyss was at least probably influenced around video games. So for me, my biggest moment was definitely just desperate wishing that Made in Abyss was a video game. And, you know, maybe that's something to look for in 2018.
It'll be a survival like sort of game where it's kind of like a hardcore. If you die, then you'd permanently die. But I watched this with my friend of the show, Zach, and both of us were like, "This looks like Ni no Kuni or Studio Ghibli adaptation." So yeah,
that's true.
Cass, what was your best moment?
Okay, so I took this quite literally. So we had one that was a little abstract and now one that's way too literal. But there is this lovely little show that aired in the summer called New Game. Gaming's in the title. So we good.
Never heard of it.
Of course you haven't. It's not like me and you were the only people on that review. And, well, I guess no, John was there. John was there. Sorry, John.
Yeah. I marathoned the whole thing to catch up for it.
To be fair, it was only supposed to be me and Craig, and then you just were there. It's like, hey, I watched the whole thing, and it's like, why?
I did the thing.
We watched the rest of the second season together. It was so strange. But anyway, getting to the best gaming moment. So during the show, there is actually a development cycle where the main character has to create a video game and goes from her character designing to basically, we need to beta test this and see what actually would be more fun to play. And I really want to play this video game. The video game was named Peko, and it basically would be you as a girl in a little bear suit, like a kigurumi, wandering around and killing other bears so that you, or basically knocking over other bears so that you can meet the queen that transported you to that world in the first place. And it just sounds so fun. And I think I might have a bear problem.
You do like bears. You do like murder bears, in fact.
Indeed. But yeah, it just seemed like a really cute design, and it looked really fun. And in watching them make this game, I also was like, God, I just really wish they'd let me play this game. If only New Game were so super popular that there would be a demand for this. I would love it.
Yeah. I like that anime because it, like, had Alba being more responsible in terms of this game, so it's pretty cool. Her conception came to life, and if I recall correctly, it was popular.
Yep. And I also agree that it looks like a fun game to play. Really want to play that game too.
Craig, your turn.
So mine was originally going to be an anime that was based on a game, Tales of Zestria, but then I was like, no. So I was like, why not have a fun anime with RPG-like elements in it? So that brings us to the world and rule set of Konosuba, aka Konosuba Arashi Sekai ni Shukofuku wo. Fuck, how did I say that right?
Nicely done.
I'm so proud, actually.
Yeah, right? So basically, when we were watching this, me, Cass, and John, basically everything's attributed to like a level up system. There's like skill points you allocate into certain abilities. Obviously, the main guy is a NEET who played video games and died, and then he went into this world to defeat the Demon Lord, and he's like, I'm gonna use my stratagems to try and min-max the situation.
I love the word stratagems.
It's fancy, right?
If that's a real word. I don't know if it is.
I believe so.
Nice.
Yeah.
I only even saw a bit of Konosuba, like, the first season, but I definitely remember elements of it that were very video game-like. I think at one point there was something like a power meter or something that, like, comes on screen and then just, like, goes down as someone dies, or there was the pause in episode 1, I think.
Yep. Where Aqua was freaking
great.
out.
Yeah, that was great. So I could definitely see how that show fits.
Yeah, and they have party members, and each kind of fits into that stereotypical role, and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a pretty fun show that I think likes to make fun of those video game elements as well. So that's a good show. That's a good choice.
John, what is your gaming shout out moment?
Basically, my gaming moment was almost anything involving Keita, Amano Keita, in the anime series Gamers from I actually forget what season it was that Gamers came out in. As little as that series actually had to do with gaming in the end, pretty much any time it come to like him saying, I'm not a hardcore gamer, I don't consider myself a hardcore gamer, I don't consider myself a competitive gamer, but I like to play things in ways I enjoy, and I play the games I enjoy to enjoy them. And like he's like where he said he like will stop and enjoy the environment, like just look at the scenery. It was just like, yeah, that I totally relate to you there. There are times where I've stopped in a game just to look around. Though I at least do know how to play a first-person shooter, I will say that.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Keita was really into the free-to-play mobile games.
Yeah, our particular choices of games don't quite align, but just his sentiments towards his gaming were ones that I'd like, okay, I completely relate there. I think even some of his opinions regarding DLC in the last episodes, I could also relate to.
Yeah, there were all those like arguments about qualities of like games and stuff and what makes them successful. Mostly like his arguments with Chiaki. I also have to ask you if you ever like went to I don't know if it was necessarily like a video game store, but do you remember when he like grabbed that game and then met the stranger boy and they had this weird moment of like comradeship because they were screaming about this visual novel that they both loved?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Have you ever been there, John?
Not quite that scenario, no.
Okay, noted. You're tame.
No, I've never really screamed about a visual novel to anyone. About the only one that I say that I have really had a discussion with anyone over is Fate Stay Night. And so take that as you will.
You are a Fate fanboy, that's for sure.
I am a Fate fanboy, I'll admit.
Well, alrighty, that was our award number 1. That is I Lost My Controller award. Award number 2, the Baewatch. Your best boy and best girl of 2017.
Yes.
Cami, who is your best boy and best girl?
So funny
Grill.
and best grill.
Girl.
Funny enough, this is one year that both my best boy and best girl are characters that I just love a lot with my heart in a very like tame, non-romantic or like sexual predator-y way, which you know.
Good choice of words. Good choice of words.
Obviously, the best ones.
Do I need to call the authorities?
I said they're not. I said they're not in this
Good.
That
context.
implies that they usually are.
Well, okay, I mean, so yeah. These two are pure cinnamon rolls, and I love them as pure cinnamon rolls. They are adorable. And so the first one is Midoriya Izuku, or Deku, as I refer to him, from My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia. And he is, well, season 2 technically, because season 2 aired this year, and I didn't watch any of My Hero until this year. And he is just probably, like, one of the characters that I think literally... as I watch the show, I literally say like, wow, what a good boy TM, like over and over out loud. He's just driven. He cares about people. He works really hard. He has this really adorable thing when he cries that like it erupts in these huge fountains that make him like sink into the ground.
Yeah.
Can I also just express how wonderful it is to have a shonen protagonist that really is not afraid to cry and like be emotional? I really, really love that. And so he's just so pure. Like, if you haven't seen the show yet, please do yourself a favor and go watch it. I feel like for anybody who has seen the show, though, like you can understand. You can understand why Deku is a nominee for best boy and my personal best boy for the year. And then my best girl is Kana from Kobayashi-san Chi no Maid Dragon, or Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. And again, I think Kana like shows up on the scene and I'm like, okay, it's the stereotypical lolly character, and at first she like starts out, at first I thought she was gonna be like a brat, but she's just but she's just so adorable. Like as soon as she went to like, I'm gonna fight you, Kobayashi, and she just does these really pathetic little punches and then she gets tired, I was like, oh you are something special. I adore her color scheme. I love the voice acting. I love that she eats everything she finds. I love that she charges herself in the wall. She is so precious.
I have a little card art of her charging up on the wall.
That is amazing. I want it.
Awesome.
I want it. I snatch up merch of her when I can. I have a little sticker of her on my laptop, and it just makes me the happiest thing. She makes me so happy. So there was really no other choice for me for best girl. Kana is definitely best girl and best dragon, in my opinion.
Can't complain there.
And you're best girl in ours.
Oh! This.
Des. Or as a good, lovely, beautiful woman who has talked to me many a times would say, Desu.
Desu.
Oh, I need that.
Anyway, I think it's my turn.
It is your turn.
I get to talk about boys and girls that I love and find great.
Yes.
So my first choice is my best boy. And I have to thank Cami for this because I was struggling with best boy, and I wanted this character to be my best boy, but I hadn't watched season 2 yet, and I still need to. So I was like, I don't know if I can technically have him as my best boy. I'm so upset. And she's like, Cassie, season 1 ended at the beginning of this year. You're good. So I put down Rei from March Comes In Like a Lion, or Shigatsu. Oh god, not Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso. That's not right. That's Your Lie in April. This is the only one that I didn't put the Japanese name down.
Sangatsu no Lion.
Sangatsu no Lion. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Add that to the blooper reel. But as it were, both of those shows actually are very similar to me in that they're both beautiful and gorgeous and tear-inducing and are both masterpieces in my eyes, so it makes sense I would mix them up.
There you go.
But anyway, so I picked Rei because he's just a depressed boy that I just want to see succeed and be happy. And he just tries so hard just to make himself happy, and he just can't do it, and I just want him to. Everybody who comes in contact with him, I actually feels the exact same way about him. I feel like the sisters picked him up because they feel like I do.
That's true.
Just that he's just this cute boy just trying so hard, and he's just protect him, please. Protect. Yes. He also is very smart and very talented with shogi, and I find that that's actually really cool, and I think it's actually really great that how he feels about shogi changes throughout the series. From something that he just does to survive to something that he can actually possibly grow to love or want to be better at, even though he's already pretty damn good. I think that he's a very relatable character. I think he's a very human character, and I feel like he's the least anime character of the boys I could have picked to be my best boy for the year. And I think that's really a really cool shining trait about him.
Nice.
So then my best girl, which I actually struggled with because there were a lot of girls this year and not many of them actually clicked with me as much as I wanted them to. And Cami already got Kana, so it really made things hard. At first I was also going to go with Toru also from Maid Dragon, and then I realized, no, I gotta get away from Maid Dragon. I need to find other good girls. They exist. I just need to find them. And then I remembered that Eddie Spencer from How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend was a thing. And yet again, it's the only show that I also didn't put down the Japanese name for, so if somebody wants to nab that for me real quick, I'm being the utmost in professionalism right now.
I think it's like Saikano Flat or something.
Yeah, Saikano.
Saikano Flat. It's like a longer name, but it's typically abbreviated to Saikano, much like Konosuba is. But basically, I found Eddie to be very wonderful and interesting as not just as a character, but as a person. When you first meet her, you think that she's going to be your typical tsundere, childhood friend, love interest, because it is a harem show. But there's so much more to her than that. And I think that that's what's great, is that it builds up on that, especially in season 2, which is why I was able to really pick her. Especially towards the tail end, you really realize how she struggles as an artist and how she needs to go elsewhere for her work to be better. And she needs to make sacrifices in her life so that she can grow as a person, regardless of what she may really want in her heart. So I felt that that was really relatable, and I found that to be really cool, that they gave that kind of spotlight to an artist and her inner feelings in a show called How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. That really shined, and she's also really freaking cute. She's got the twin tails and the blushing face. That's fantastic. She's great.
I just looked her up, and I was like, those blonde twin tails, though. Yes.
I have a reoccurring gif of her blinking and blushing and looking the other way, and if it doesn't make you fall in love, I don't know what else would.
Nice.
Sainai Helen no Sodate Kata.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
There's a lot of good girls in that show, but she's definitely my best girl, and the one that I feel that out of the entire cast got really the most development when it came to her art form.
Nice.
But just so I can see what everybody else thinks, I'm going to very awkwardly, before we transition, put this GIF into our serious business chat and see how many other people fall in love. Just gonna put this right here. Just gonna put that in our server for everyone to look at.
Let me get it to load. Aw, that's cute. She cute.
Oh, that gif.
She cute.
That's my girl. But yeah, she's my best girl 2017.
Nice.
Okay. For me, best boy and best girl. Funny enough, the story behind the story behind
such a troll.
What?
Okay, can we please also explain that you literally, just to put this on your list, went and marathon the show? Can you please mention that?
I did. So first, it's been in the makings. Our review for Fate Apocrypha has been underway, and we're trying to get caught up for it. But Netflix dropped part 1 of that show like several months ago, and it's been taunting me. And at this point, I was like, there's a ganky ass motherfucker with pink hair in this show. I don't know his story, but he seems like a cool ass motherfucker. His name's Astolfo. He's one of the 12, Paladins of Charlemagne? He likes to constantly say that, but you know what? He's ganky as fuck. John can back me up on this one.
I can. He certainly is. I was actually thinking of having him as my best boy for the year, but Craig actually beat me to it while I was bedridden.
So I literally binged. John's now finished it at this point, but I'm on episode 18 of the show.
One more episode to go.
Yeah, one more. So I'm on episode 18, and I can safely say my choice is solid, because the guy is pretty loyal to a fault and does not like it when people get oppressed, and is making sure that people are happy and are free, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Can I also give a little bit of background very quickly?
Hmm?
Craig came up to me and said, Cassie, can I put him on my list? Can I do it? And I said, well, sure, if you choose to marathon the show in the next 2 days. That conversation did happen. And I feel like it's a necessity to drop that. Boy literally wanted to put him there before he even watched the show, but this did solidify it, and I approve of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's commitment. That is commitment to your best boy.
Right.
And best girl, Cass, a little note before we started recording here, Cass saw this and questioned, of all the characters, why this character is my best girl. Well, kids, again, wait for the review for Love Live Sunshine in the future, but Season 2 broke me with dank memes.
What?
Dank memes.
I'm so confused.
And line stickers. Hanamaru Kunikita, aka Zuramaru, was the girl who says Zura as her verbal tick, and shoutouts to Suki, who me, her, and Cass say Gambarubi and Zura all the time, to a point where I'm like, oh, Season 2 made her best girl because she's such a troll, and she always eats food, and she's so happy to eat food and just be there, but also be kind of a dick to people in the process. She also serves as a weird sense of comic relief, but you have to watch the show in order to really get it. There's a funny scene with her with a giant poofy jacket, and she starts rolling down a hill. I won't ruin the punchline of it, but that's a good setup for you. Just saying, if there's one thing about Sunshine Season 2 that I liked, it was the first years. The rest of it, you'll have to figure out my opinion later.
Ooh, to be continued.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just confused because he for the longest time, and for almost every time he's fallen in love with an idol girl, it's been, this is my best girl. And then this particular character, Hanamaru, like literally up until a couple of weeks ago, literally maybe even a week ago, she was maybe mid-tier. And now apparently like memes and line stickers, not even her characterization itself, boosted her up to number 1, and I just don't know how to feel about life anymore.
It's dank is what it is. It's dank.
I just don't even.
I mean, she looks cute. I like the little. I looked up a picture of her. She's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Hanamaru is really cute. You'd like her. She's the library girl.
Yep.
Yes.
She's shy, but again, when you get her talking, she's really, she's kind of, she's spunky.
It sounded like she has a lot in common with Kana, too, about loving to eat things, and is kind of an asshole to people.
I was kind of confused, because she's never really bluntly an asshole. Like, she's just more of a, like, she just, like, teases people. But one of the I think one of the scenes that I love the most about her is that she's obsessed with, like, new electronics and stuff like that.
Yep.
And there's a scene where she sits underneath, like, one of those hand dryers in the bathroom, and she's just sitting under it, and she's like, "It's the future, Zuda!"
Zuda!
I mean, I always thought that she was one of the best girls in my heart, but apparently Craig finally came around.
Listen, Yo is still precious. It's just season 2 didn't give her any time to shine. Oh.
Like I said before, that's never stopped you before. But moving on.
Yep, John, what you got?
Yes, I also loved that character.
Oh, I love Kof-chan. Kof-chan is best girl.
Kof-chan.
I'm trying not to cough in everyone's ears.
Right up there with pneumonia and
Oh god.
and Mono-chan.
Mono-chan is ultimate best girl.
Oh yes, I've met her personally. We had an intimate relationship, and
Yep.
What about Bronchitis Senpai?
oh fuck that guy.
Oh my
Yeah, he's kind of brooding and an asshole.
So, who I've put down as my best boy for 2017 is, in fact, Reg from Made in Abyss.
Slaps. What a good
Not
boy.
surprising.
Not only does he remind me a lot of Mega Man in a number of ways, one of the later episodes really sold it for me, where I don't really want to go into spoilers, but
Save that for the review.
yeah.
What are things you like about him that aren't spoilerly? Spoilerly.
Spoilery.
He gives it his all when he and like he really does do his best to try and help out, and it's just the dedication and trying to put into words, especially without talking about specific events, is really hard.
I think it's fair to say, like, for me, Sans may be one other character. I think he goes through, like, the most challenges in the series, or, like, goes through a lot and grows. Like, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, he does definitely show a lot of growth.
Probably helps he's a QT and a robot. We all know how much you love your robots.
That's true.
You have a bias.
You want to know why he's one of my best boys of 2017?
Why?
Because he answered a question that V3 gave me back in September of whether or not robots have dicks or not.
Yeah, that joke.
Tune in. Find out the answer.
Oh my god. No, Reg is precious. Like, I think that's undeniable. I like his little, like, bucket helmet on his head and how it, like, tilts to the side. I know that's a weird detail, but it's so cute.
So cute.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like his design and all sorts about him as well. It's just, he's like stretchy, not stretchy, but like his cable arms they can shoot off. Just
maybe what you're trying to get to with the stuff that happened later on. Maybe his compassion, is that what is appealing to you the most?
He has compassion, and just like when a certain character is in trouble, there's like no hesitation.
Yeah.
Especially when he was told, no, there is a way to save them. Is instantly, okay, what do I do? And he just does it. And just, yeah. That's more what I was getting at, so.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Sounds like the worst boy of 2017.
Garbage character.
How dare he be compassionate?
Anywho,
Gross.
for Best Girl, I was actually sitting for a while trying to think of make a decision on. but ultimately, I think it comes down to Ochako Uraraka from
Yes.
Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia. So, second hero character to come up already.
There's just so many good, and I think that that's universal. Like we all love Uraraka, Cassie especially. I like to.
Worst girl of 2017.
Oh my gosh,
God.
you are spewing filth and lies. But
I
yeah,
obviously hate her guts. What are you talking about?
obviously, yes.
Yeah. I've loved her as a character since the first season, and just she has so many shining moments in season 2. And she does have a lot of growth, as that we see, and that when she falls short and fails, she looks at what happened and looks for a way to improve herself and changes what her plans were for the future in order to improve herself in ways that she knew she was falling short. Because like with the not sure if I should say that, actually, thinking about it.
I think it's fair to just say she's a hard worker.
Yeah, she's a hard worker. Very much a hard worker.
Very determined.
Determined, and she
Gotta
does give it
make-
a roll.
And very
Gotta
cute.
gotta support them. Gotta support the fam.
And she also has some very adorable moments as well.
She does.
So yeah, that is my best boy and best girl of 2017.
Good picks. Good picks.
Alrighty, and with that, that wraps up our first couple awards. Again, those are I Lost My Controller Award and the Baewatch Best Boy and Best Girl of Anime 2017. Stay tuned, and we will discuss the first top 6 Cami's 2017 top picks.
That's right. So this is my top 6 series of the whole entire year of all of 2017. And as per discussed earlier, I will be going in reverse numerical order. So I'm starting with my 6th show and then going all the way to my number 1. I really, really love all of these shows. So all except for maybe like, they're all kind of arbitrary, except number 1 is absolutely number 1, just like clear shot. But yeah, I will try and go into rankings wise as well as I start. And the first one on the docket is Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko, or Girl's Last Tour, which is a show that I passed for the fall season. So, I mean, I will try to be vague, but even in my impression, I think I stated that this is a show that, like, I don't know, I thought would be okay, kind of interesting, worth checking out. Little did I anticipate that it would be one of my favorite shows of the entire season. And it really was. I love this show. I love the 2 characters that we have. The production is beautiful. It is like a smaller scale story, and it's kind of a simple chill watch, which might be why I placed it lower. But undeniably, this is a show that I just have a ton of affection for, and I've like looked back on while it's been airing and since I've been watching it, and I just have so many positive feels about this show. And it was one of those shows that gave me a feeling that I was watching something special. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just watching another anime. It's like, no, I'm watching Girl's Last Tour, and this is a special, unique experience in itself. So I love that show, and I'm excited for our review. Nice. And number 5 is Netju no Susume, or Recovery of an MMO Junkie. Oh yeah, it had to be on there. Speaking again of another show that I just didn't, I was like, whatever, check it out. And then holy shit, did I fall in love with the show. Thank you, Cassie, for having it on your list. It's incredible. Just really does excellent storytelling to bring a simple premise, like a lot of charm and a lot of heart and some depth in some places. Simple enough said. It also was unique sort of in its setup rather than every other anime where you had like a character in high school. Instead, you're following adults. That was also really nice. Yeah, I just a lot of reasons, and I want to stay vague so I don't like ruin reviews, but like just really, really good show. Please go check it out. Also, I just want to definitely shout out that the opening for it is phenomenal. That was like the quick lead-in. As soon as I watched episode 1, I was like, oh man, this is so good. This is so good.
I watch it every time.
Every time. And sometimes when I'm just randomly doing my hair and I'm like, I'm going to play the Nechuno Susume opening. Yeah.
I also love that this show really brings people together. I think that all of us have watched the show, or at least the first couple episodes, looking at you, John. But
Wait, he hasn't finished it?
Everyone I've pointed to the show to has loved it.
Yeah, really. I can't think of anybody who I've been like, check it out and has disliked it. I can't think of anybody. I think everybody's at least really liked it or loved it. I do think that, just like you mentioned, just with our friend group, but even like the greater anime community, like there was a lot of buzz with like Anitubers that I watched who are all like, wow, this show is really good, guys. Check it out. Oh my god. Like I think we all had that kind of pleasant surprise with MMO Junkie. So kudos to that. That one is definitely worth mentioning. And number 4, speaking of surprises, except I think I knew it was going to be good, just not in the way that it was exceptionally good, and that is Made in Abyss. And again, keeping vague, very good show. Excellent art, really, really excellent world building, characters that you can grow attached to really well. It was a show that I had a really hard time watching with my boyfriend because he didn't want to marathon it and I wanted to just blast through. Like, that whole catalog, like, each time that the episode turned off and it said next episode, I was like, are you sure you don't want to watch another one? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, but I do, I really do. I also undoubtedly think that Made in Abyss was the best show of its season. That would be the summer season, I believe.
You are correct.
Yeah, I completely think it's phenomenal. It's definitely the best of its season, and for me, one of the best of the year. Okay, rolling right along. We're getting into top 3 here. Oh my gosh. And for number 3, we're going plus ultra with Boku no Hero Academia Season 2, or My Hero Academia Season 2, boys. Oh my god, I was so slow rolling on this. Cassie was like the prophet who knew all along from Season 1 that My Hero Academia is just incredible.
Yes, queen.
Yes, it is definitely, and to be fair, I don't dabble in shonen like a ton, but you know, I'd seen some Naruto, I'd seen some Bleach, I watched like older shonen when I was younger. Like, oh my god, My Hero is just like top tier shonen, and I adore it to death. The characters are wonderful, the production is awesome, the story just gets more and more hype, and I got so engrossed and fell into like the full hell of like looking up fan art and like listening to the music and randomly exclaiming to my boyfriend, I'm like, have I told you how amazing My Hero Academia is? Like, can we just address to the world that My Hero Academia is amazing? So,
yes, please.
Yeah, and Season 2 was just hype as hell, and there was no way it could miss my list, or the top 3, I think, because I think it's phenomenal. Okay, and then going into number 2, this is definitely more of a subjective pick for me, because this is around the types of shows that I do like, and that is Kobayashi-san, Chino Maid Dragon, or Miss Kobayashi's. Yes! Your clapping gives me life, Cassie. So this was one that I picked up because it was KyoAni, and it didn't look like a lot of other KyoAni shows that had been made recently, like Tamako Market, Kyokai no Kanata, Hibike Euphonium, which were like hyper realistic, pretty, and kind of, some of them were down to earth. Hibike was down to earth. But I was like, sure, I'll give this comedy a try. I didn't think I'd get much out of it, but hoo boy, it is amazing and put a smile on my face every single day. The art and color palette is just gorgeous. The jokes were really charming. Most of them. Yeah, most of them were really charming. I loved the entire cast. They felt like a comfy family that I just like checked in with, and I just love the show so much, you guys. I love it.
It's so pleasant.
It's just so pleasant, and I really love, especially as I get like older and busier, I really like just kind of small, grounded stories about just like the simple things and being with people that you care about, and that show definitely knew how to nail in that feeling. which again, I'm not surprised because it again is by the author who did I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying, which is a show in a similar vein to me that just like really understands like human connection and the little moments that we share with people that matter. So yeah, shout outs to that. And Cassie knew this all along. My number one show is absolutely just blow away Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju Sukeroku. Yes! Futabi Hen, or the second season of Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. Oh my god, like, I don't think I have called a show a masterpiece in a really, really long time, but that is completely what I think this show is. And it's funny because I liked season 1 well enough, but I felt incomplete and unsatisfied, and I wasn't really sure what to get with a second season, like if it was going to be a spin-off of what we got in the first season. But I learned right away that season 1 was an incomplete story, and season 2 wraps up the entire like legacy of Rakugo Shinju, and it was just an incredibly complex, excellently woven story about drama and human life and an art form that is dying. I don't even know how alive it is at this point. By the end of the show, it's pronounced that it has been dying. So this show taught me things. It really educated me about an era and an art form, and just so many emotions. So many emotions. Every single episode had at least one phenomenal scene, if not more. And just, I've never really seen a piece of media cover the topic of life and death quite as poignantly as this show did. And I really, 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 really treasure that. And this show will not be leaving me for a very long time. And I'm so glad that Cassie was with me watching the show, because I would have been a lot more broken than I already was after it ended.
Oh yes, I remember we watched the last part, or most of season 2 together, and there were times when the episode would end and we'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
And I remember, like, you and I being like, are you ready to watch the next episode? And we're just like, as ready as I'll ever be. Like, let's go. Like, it just... And
then it ended, and it was like, we need time. We need
my
time,
God.
And an adult. And time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You and I were just mostly, like, quiet and, like, crying and, like, awestruck. And I just, oh my God. It's...
Nice.
Seriously... I think everybody should give this show a shot, especially if you really, 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 really like dramas. I think this is one of the best drama shows I've ever seen, if not the best. So, yeah, just hands down, number 1, 2017, Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju Season 2. And I'm out! Drops the mic.
Right on! And moving forward... Our next set of mini awards we have on the docket.
Oh yeah, and I get to talk again. Dang, picks up the mic.
Right? you ain't done yet. You ain't done. First award, Shiipp Award. Your favorite couple or OTP of 2017.
Actually, this is a pretty good transfer.
That's a good segue. Lol. So, I noticed that while I usually aggressively focus on ships and anime, and that's just an aspect of watching anime that I really, really enjoy. This year, there weren't a lot of standout OTPs. There were a lot of, like, pairings that I liked the idea of that didn't necessarily come to fruition. There were some hinted at pairings that were kind of cute, but I was like, I don't really know. So I decided to go with Konatsu and Yotaro from season 2 of Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. And so I picked them for a couple reasons. They are very unique from a lot of like the other pairings that I dabbled with, and the fact that it's interesting. They kind of start out as a couple for convenience, where there is a single mother, and then Yotaro walks in and says, like, I will protect you, essentially. But their relationship is very rocky, and you think it's just for convenience, essentially, for the kid to have a family. And they're also like 30-year-old adults. And so you really get to just watch their relationship and like an adult relationship like earnestly bloom through this entire series. And it's not easy. It's challenging. There are a lot of bumps along the way. But they show so much like support to each other in very little ways. You know, there's not like the romantic like kiss under the cherry blossoms, but there's like really earnest moments that show that they care about each other, and getting to see them develop, and because they were unique. And I also appreciate more adult relationships as I get older, and I'm like, yeah, functioning healthy adult relationships, yeah, that's amazing. So I decided to choose them. I don't look up fan art and things of them, but they really show examples to me of what I would want in a future relationship, like a flourishing relationship that I could stick with through life. So yeah,
right on. Cass?
Okay, so I had a hard time picking my Shiipp of this year.
Yeah.
But I actually was talking to Cami about this earlier today because I still hadn't decided. At first I was going back and forth, like maybe I could pick somebody from Suredure Children, but then that show, like I can't pick a favorite couple. I just can't do it. There are a couple that are my favorites, but none that just shine above the rest.
Yeah.
And then I remembered I don't have to necessarily pick something that's been 150% proven it's real. Even let's be honest here. Let's be honest. I chose Kobayashi and Toru from Maid Dragon, also discussed earlier, because Kobayashi and Toru, for some reason, are so debated in the anime community about whether it is or is not canon. And I kind of put it on the same level as those people who debate whether Yuri and Victor are canon from Yuri on Ice. It's
Well
just
said.
a very strange thing to debate to me, even.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that it's great that that discourse is happening. And that's one of the reasons that I really do love this couple. I also love them because, to me, they're a canonically gay couple, and I want more of them. Especially in a show that isn't purely romantic. It's based on something else entirely. Much like one of the reasons I loved Yuri on Ice is you had that romance. But what was at the forefront was becoming a person that you can be proud of and competing. And much in the same vein, Kobayashi and Toru learn more about each other to build a family that isn't purely based on blood or even their own species, which I think is really cool, because even though the show is very lighthearted and fun, it shows that you can grow bonds of love and affection for people who are very different from you and have very different views. And that's one of the reasons why I ship them as hard as I do. And I think that there's a lot of things that go into making them a really good couple, including but not limited to them being completely domestic with their non-technical daughter, Kana, and learning to raise a family and make a family, kind of like the same way I felt with the movie we just watched, Tokyo Godfathers.
Oh,
like
yes.
these very different people coming together to make this very dysfunctional yet functional family.
Yep.
And also, I don't care what anybody says, because there's been official art of them in wedding dresses and stuff, so
Yep.
it's official to me. I ship them really hard, and they're really cute, and the scenes of them just together are just so good and so lovey and make me doki doki so hard. I love them.
So pure.
It's so pure, so great. There's that scene where Toru fantasizes about, what was it? Kobayashi putting her hand above her against the wall, and then she breaks the table from fantasizing about it. That is so good. 10 out of 10.
Lord.
It's amazing. It is so amazing. Or, oh god, yeah, no. There's just so much. I agree. I so much approve of that choice.
I could talk about this couple for decades. But in the interest of time, let's move on to your pick, Craig.
So speaking of a couple that you could talk about for decades and hours and on end, Moriko Morioka and Yuta Sakurai from Netju Susume, aka Recovery of an MMO Junkie, often just abbreviated MMO Junkie. So you have Moriko. That's just this 30-year-old woman who quits her job and becomes a NEET, and then she plays the online RPG game, and she plays the dude in that game, and it's her becoming friends with like her guildmates. But outside of that, she meets a guy named Sakurai, and oh, he's such a precious boy. He's such a precious boy. And why did I pick these two as a couple? Is just Cass and Suki's reactions to every encounter they had. They fangirled so hard, and I was in the background and just eating popcorn, and I'm just like smiling the entire time with this big dumb grin on my face. I'm like, this is too cute. This is too cute. I'm gonna die of diabetes here, guys. Stop this. I'm eating too much sugar over here. I'm flatlining. Point proven. It's a cute ass couple. Again, if you have not seen MMO Junkie, 10 episodes, easy to digest. There's one OVA. It's all on Crunchyroll.
I definitely feel like if you hadn't picked that, Cassie or I definitely like would have flocked to it too.
That was the easiest that came to mind in my opinion. I'm like, yep, this is definitely cute as fuck.
I just didn't want to be too predictable because I ship it so hard. But it's just everything, like Craig said, everything they did and said within each other's presence is just, and also it's just so pure.
Yep.
Yes.
I remember there's a scene where one of them wears a hoodie and the other one is just so excited about it.
Yeah.
Or there's a comment that's made at one point that's like, I just wish you could see how wonderful you are like I do. And it's just like, these are just so many relationship goals. Just so many.
Yeah.
So good. So pure.
Yeah, your turn, John.
Yeah, your turn.
Yeah, so I was also really struggling to come to a decision for what to put down for this one. Ultimately, the couple that I put down aren't official canon couple in the series, but I'm still like, just get together already. And it's Satosaki, or Sakie rather, and Takahashi Tetsuo from Demi-chan wa Kataritai, or Interviews with Monster Girls.
Is that the succubus?
The succubus
Yes.
math teacher and the main male character.
Oh, I've heard cute things about them.
I ship it.
Just when she's first introduced, she's going out of her way to avoid male contact because of her nature as a succubus. She's like a bit too cautious of it. And just she has this moment where she accidentally makes physical contact with Tetsuo, and he just seems completely unfazed, and she takes it upon, she gets in her head that he's not affected and therefore can relax around him. Only he's not unaffected at all. He actually, like, as quickly as he can get out there without looking suspicious, as soon as he's out of sight, you see his reaction. And just the way the two are with each other, she ends up developing a crush on him because of that, and just he's still trying to
maintain his cool
and be courteous and not make her feel out of place, while not bringing attention to something that she's obviously conscious about, and just the pair is so good for each other. Though he is also incredibly tense.
I was gonna say, I think that out of like so many ships that have kind of misunderstandings, I think that's a really cute misunderstanding because they're both trying to be like extra considerate of one another.
Yep.
So it sounds like it's gonna be potentially a long road for them, but it would probably be really rewarding if they did get together.
So yeah, that's why I ultimately went with, because I just found their interactions with each other and their interaction of rather. They're not exactly interactions if they're away from each other, but like their thoughts about how they are towards each other when they're not inside of each other. And just there's a lot that just made me really like this couple. And I also figured we should get some lights pointed towards this series, because I did really enjoy this series overall.
Nice.
So yeah.
All right, guys. Junk
Mhm.
food is good sometimes, but you kind of sometimes feel guilty by eating the junk food. I want to know what your guilty pleasure anime of 2017 is, Cami.
Unabashedly, my guilty pleasure anime, and I even said this was going to be a trashy anime when I had it for impressions, and that is Oshitsu Kyoshi Haine, or The Royal Tutor, which Cassie joined me on watching, thankfully.
Yes.
And it's pretty boys, and it's sparkles, and it's
Yeah.
like very, 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 very light BL tones, but it's aiming for the Fujoshi crowd. And it's just a light comedy show. But you know what? I loved the heck out of it, and honestly, I think it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like it honestly was very good for what it was, but it was unabashedly what it was, which was a pretty boys show. And I ate it all up, and I would probably rewatch it sometime soon.
Cass showed me a clip with the main guy. So he's a small adult man with a deep voice, standing on a horse, just like, Prince, I must catch up with you. And they're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then she shows me another clip where he's like, you have soft hands, so soft. Funny.
I think you're missing the punchline, Craig, because the thing that made me and you laugh really hard was when he said, "I apologize, my prince. My feet cannot reach the shackles."
That was it.
Sorry,
that was
yeah.
yeah.
So he stood
The
on
stirrups.
the
The
horse.
stirrups.
Yes, that
Shackles,
was
I
it.
have a one-track mind. Stirrups.
I love the joke about how short he is, and they always like make him go chibi form, and it's so great. It's near and dear to my heart, and I love it.
It was a great show. It was fun. And then they swap out the ending one episode.
And that was pure junk food. That was fan service.
Oh, yeah. My ovaries are still trying to recover.
Damn.
I had to go to the store and buy a new pair.
Damn. Those just cost a pretty penny.
Yeah, I do.
Cass.
Hmm?
What kind of junk food do you like?
So listen.
Okay.
So listen.
What?
There's this show that I really love this year.
There's a
Purely based on the fact that it's terrible. And there's some people who can forgive me, and there are some people who can accept me for who I am. And you know what? To those people, thank you. And to the rest of you, Eromanga Sensei is one of the best anime of the year. And
oh, good lord.
And it inspires childlike wonder and joy inside me when I watch the show. And I've watched it through a couple times now. And you know what? It's better the second time. Because you just don't care anymore. It's so good. It's pure. It's a really bad show. But it's bad in the best way. And I guess I'm going to jail. I don't know.
I was gonna say
I don't really have much else to say about Eromanga Sensei except for it's fun. It's just a fun show about a young girl who may or may not be in love with her unblood-related brother, and their misadventures in trying to break into the light novel industry. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I was gonna say this is the year where you finally discovered your niche anime tastes, Cass. Congratulations.
Yeah, I just like watching people try to succeed in the industry, obviously.
Yeah?
This is just another Shirobako. I don't understand what the problem is.
Right. Of course, clearly. Okay. They just have emotos in there, right?
I mean,
I'm just waiting for...
Oh, I was just gonna say, how can we forget Ochinchin? Daisuki da yo!
I am so happy we now have Cami recorded saying,
"Oh, yep.
I'm going to make that my ringtone."
No!
Yes, please. Yes, please. This is yet another beautiful thing that Eromanga Sensei has given to me.
Bless Eromanga Sensei.
But yeah, it's a siscon show with lots of inappropriate young girls and very compromising situations, and if that makes you feel awkward, as it probably should, and did for me as well, just to clarify, you probably should stay far away, but if you can stomach that to just watch really stupid people doing stupid things with a slight light-hearted story in there. It is there, guys. That's not a joke. There is some substance to this show, but for the most part, it's just complete pandering popcorn food, and I loved it. Moving on.
So, I feel no shame for any anime, and I come to you today on this day to report to you that Hajimete no Gal is a decent show. I am a simple man with simple needs, and this show provided one thing and one thing only.
Tits?
Tits and ass and camel toe.
See, that sounded like 3 things, not 1 thing.
Fair point. Ladies and gentlemen, this show, I watched this show, and I knew it was garbage. I saw PBs, I read the first couple chapters of the manga just to see what it was all about. Then at one point or another, I wound up watching the first couple episodes of it, and I was like, okay, I see what you're going for. These characters' proportions are astronomical. One may say unrealistic to the naked eye, but you know what? I still pressed on. It is garbage. Flat out garbage. It's 10 episodes of garbage. So, but it's weird because in the end, I realized there is character growth in the show. Where the main girl is actually just a really cute, shy girl who hasn't actually had a boyfriend, and this guy who's kind of a pansy pushover actually gets a spine at the end of the show, and I'm like, I didn't expect this. Okay, and they actually grow as a couple, but ultimately it panders to the lowest common denominator. Tits and ass, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got.
I just can't with the lolly girls' boobs. I really can't.
No, you can't, because they're like fucking G's.
The show was really dumb from the 2 episodes I watched, and that's okay. Most of the stuff here is pretty dumb.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yep. It should be noted, obviously, that there is the TV version and the uncensored version. And the TV version on Crunchyroll was hilarious to see because they put blatant photoshops of hands and hearts everywhere.
Nice.
Yep. Sean, what junk food do you like?
So my the series that I've put down for junk food here is quite a bit different. Though there is I will admit there is a certain aspect of the character designs in it that a lot of people will point out. It is Free Mom's Gurl, a series about a girl called Owl and her unintentionally growing collection of tiny robot girls who can fight amongst themselves. I really like this series, but as I said in our impressions on it, in that I sunk it because I knew I was the only one here that would like it. And
why do you like it, John?
There is a lot to love about the series. Me being a already emotionally and financially invested into the line of model kits that these characters are based on is one reason that I am not ashamed to admit. And there is combat in each episode, but it is mostly Elle and her slice of life with these tiny robot girls and hijinks that ensues. And it's CG. It's not terrible CG, not great CG, but and I will say it's not for everyone, but it's fun. It's a fun series.
Mm-hmm.
There's model building in it, and there's cute robot girls who do fight, and just, yeah, it's fun. So
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. And there is there is actually quite a bit of character growth between three of the characters at least in particular, but you do see the other characters develop a little. So yeah,
I'm glad you enjoy it and you are invested in this love of the franchise as a whole.
mm-hmm.
Alrighty, and that was our awards. Just to bring them back up again. Shiipp Award, your favorite couple or OTP of 2017, and Junk Food is Sometimes Good For You Award, aka the Guilty Pleasure Anime of 2017. Coming up, we have my top 6 anime of 2017.
Woo!
What a way to close us out.
Yeah.
Better do it with a bang, Craig.
Alright. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but I don't know if my list will be satisfactory to you, or you'll really...
It doesn't have to be. It's
Yeah,
your
it's
top
yours.
list.
Listen, I came up with this pretty on the spot. I realized something out of this year, and I realized something that's going to be a continuing trend for me. I typically go for sequels and season 2s or 3s, and this list, obviously, I tried to tailor it so it didn't have Food Wars Season 3, or Love Live, or whatnot, or...
I mean, if those were your best, did
Attack
you
on
not notice
Titan.
the part where Cami's
Yeah.
number 1 was a sequel?
Yeah,
Listen.
I had 2 sequels on mine.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen. It's okay.
It is okay, that's
acknowledge
what we're
them.
trying to tell you.
I acknowledge them. And let me break it down for you. Starting with number 6. Recreators.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
Interesting.
Now, you may say, why this show? I mean, me and John really like it, but I will say, first and foremost, it's lowest because it's an interesting idea. However, it has some problems.
Mm-hmm.
It had some pretty weird problems. Some of the pacing was a little odd. Some of the characters were more memorable than others. However, I will flat out admit, unabashedly, I am a Studio Troika fanboy. I love everything A. Aoki does, the director who's also been behind Fate Zero and Aldenoa Zero, as well.
Zeros.
You loved Aldenoa Zero?
I believe he did work on Aldenoa Zero, but also...
No, I'm asking if you loved Aldenoa Zero, because I don't
No,
remember you loving Aldenoa Zero.
I
You just
don't-
said you love everything he does. That does not sound correct.
Listen, I watched that show, but it was not that good. Okay, we forget. It's his black.
I'm just noting fallacies in your statements, my dear.
Listen, the music was produced by Hiroyuki Sawano, and that man can do no wrong. For those who don't know about the show, it's basically about a guy who wants to get into illustrations and create his own content. But however, he gets pulled into a magical world, like that of an anime, and he realizes, oh man, this anime girl and another person are fighting with giant robots, and a girl using swords like that are spinning around her body. What do? And then he gets the fuck out of Dodge. And then it's his misadventures, as apparently the end of the world is nigh, and this girl with the swords around her apparently wants to destroy the world using other IPs from anime.
Can I just point out that while he did go into their world for a second, he came back out, and then
Yep.
the anime girl followed him into our world. You
Yep.
just made it sound like another isekai world anime, but
It's like Isekai, but in reverse,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Like all of the...
Essentially.
it's a bunch of anime and game characters
IPs,
coming
yeah.
to our world.
To find their authors, right?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, but why is it like on your list is what I want to know. What was it that appealed to you? Because you're giving us a lot of specifics about what the show is, but what is it that made it number 6 on your list is what I want to know.
I don't know, it's just, it was fun to see the action and whatnot, and actually how it was unique in of itself to see, as you guys put it, a reverse isekai of how all these characters of video games and anime and light novels and whatnot actually tried to find their authors and the content creators to try and get back to their world and stop and obviously the quote-unquote destruction of the world. And I was like, okay, this is cool, and it's actually it's animated really well, and there are some heartfelt moments in it. It just has some weird pacing.
So it was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Number 5. The Ancient Magus Bride, aka...
Oh, what? That's so cool.
AKA Maho Sekai no Yome. As of this recording, we are currently on episode 13. It aired this year, so I count this. This show is not your typical quote-unquote Craig show, as in no one's punching the shit out of each other with blazing music in the background. This show is calming, serene. It has world building. It doesn't, do info dumps with you. It takes its time, and it is a joy to behold as you, along with the main character Chisei, are discovering the ins and outs of the world unseen to normal human eyes. However, I will say the show can be a little dark. It's, in my opinion, I found the show best when binging rather than watching weekly.
I agree.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing where I like to see all of it at once, and shoutouts to, I was behind 4 episodes before we got here, and I watched all of them, holy crap, I love it. It's just animated beautifully. The characters are pretty cool. They're complex. They don't really they don't tell you everything all up front. They are like people. They have shit in their closet, and and if they want to tell it to you, then they'll tell it to you at their own pace. And I'm very curious to see how this ends, because it doesn't seem like a traditional, oh, we gotta stop the big bad. It's just there. It's the daily lives of Chisei, and what did you guys call Elias?
I swear to God, Craig. If you say
Elias
Craig,
Ainsworth?
Craig, you don't deserve to have the show on your list if you call him Elias.
What did you call him,
Yeah,
Cami?
you can't do, it's a misrepresentation of an amazing show.
Yeah.
So, come on, Craig.
So,
come on.
Pronunciation
if anything,
aside.
call him Bone Daddy instead. I'll accept
yes,
that.
call him Bone Daddy Ainsworth.
I was waiting for you all to call him that. Thank you. He is an interesting
I would prefer
character.
that.
I'm pronunciation.
That was nice.
Nice, John.
Pronunciation aside, I was rather surprised by this one. So
that's awesome. I did not expect that to be on your list. That's really cool.
Nah. Number 4. Talk about another serene, calming world with intrigue and mystery. Made in Abyss.
Hey.
So basically, after a certain point, towards the mid-December, I believe it was, after hearing everyone and their mother say this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and Cass saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, me and a friend of the show, Zach, sat down and binged all of it within 2-3 days. It doesn't really hold its punches, or pull its punches rather, when it comes to the rules of the world and what can happen to characters in this world. The first episode seemed, again, like that of a Studio Ghibli or a Ni no Kuni production, like that of a video game. An interesting thing to discover and explore, as well as trying to figure out what is in this giant pit. I will say, I saw this apt post on J-List's Twitter, but it was that meme with the guy and his obvious friend or girlfriend, and then he looks behind and then it's a girl. It was Rico, and it's the girl next to her was normal, comfortable life, and then it's just impending doom inside of a giant pit as Rico's looking back, and I'm like, oh god, that's apt. Oh, you precious 12-year-old girl, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. Why are you doing this? It's a a joy to behold. I can't wait to actually talk about the things that I liked and had qualms with the show at a later date.
The nitty gritty. Awesome.
Pretty much right. Number 3, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, otherwise known as Kobayashi Sanji no Me Dragon.
That's
Aw,
awesome.
yeah.
So basically, this was the first official show that we, as a crew, started to like do impressions and then do an actual review on. My initial thoughts were, man, this is another Kyo Annie cutesy fest with a dragon maid. Simple concept. I honestly kind of dismissed it at first, where I was like, man, this show is going to be boring and it's going to just be another cutesy moe blob, a slice of life. Is it that?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Do I
it
enjoy
is
it?
that, but there's more to it than just that, yeah.
Oh, yes. It's, again, going back to what Cass said about Best Couple. It honestly, like, shows an interesting life of a person that essentially gets a maid, but it comes off as they're a parental unit, as a dysfunctional family, and how Kobayashi is essentially a programmer in everyday life and just kind of goes to work, goes home, and has her dragon wife and dragon baby child going to school and taking care of her, because Kana is a precious child, and I love it.
Yes.
I was pleasantly surprised by it, so.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Number 2, Recovery of a MMO Junkie, otherwise known as
Hey!
Netju no Susume.
Dang, that ranked high.
This is high, right? Now, again, talk about another show where I honestly did not think that the show would be any good, but it completely floored me, where I was like, holy shit, the show does not deserve to be this as good as it actually is. It's cute. It's wholesome. It's about making friends and feeling comfortable and safe in a content area when you're having fun in a safe space, as well as trying to better yourself as a person in and outside of a video game sphere or any sort of medium, as well as the fact that I watched this pretty much, I would say pretty much half of the show with Cass and Suki, and again, call back to the last mini award with the couple, just hearing their audible reactions is how cute and how they relate to the Morioka and Sakurai and how much of a frackin' sweetheart he is. And I'm like, I feel that. I feel that character. I feel him 110% because I, too, am what has been called a sweet, precious boy. So,
It's true.
that's why I loved watching every episode with them. And that's why it is my number 2.
Nice.
Number 1. Do y'all want to guess what my number 1 is just before I say it?
I actually have no idea.
yeah.
I kind of called Cammy's, but
Yeah.
with how your list has been going, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I am actually not certain.
Number 1. Land of the Lustrous.
What?
Otherwise known as Hoseki no Kuni.
Whoa!
Wow, was not
Interesting.
expecting that one, actually.
Me either.
Explain.
Talk about a show where, again, much like Made in Abyss, had hype behind it. Behind the walls of Amazon Strike, as of this recording now gone, was a lovely gem, about all in CG, 3D animated show that was all about just gems, essentially. And now, and I made the joke before even watching all of this, is this Steven Universe? No, it's not Steven Universe. It's essentially about a character named False. All genderless characters, so I'll just call them all characters. A character named False, as they are trying to make an encyclopedia of the world of the Land of Lustrous.
Phospholite.
Phospholite, yep.
Phospholite.
Mm-hmm. And essentially, it's their journey and adventures as trying to figure out this world and interact with the other 28 gems as well, and interact with their master, which kind of look like a Buddhist monk. This show, again, it's beautiful to watch. Its action set pieces are very well choreographed to a point where I'm just floored by it. And much like Magus Bride, much like Made in Abyss, this world building, it takes its time. It's serene. It's peaceful. When things happen, things actually happen. There is character growth within all of these characters, and I feel as though Foss, without going too much into detail of this, goes through a character arc change by the end of the show. It is a stark contrast between where she starts and where she ends up. And I went to friend of the show, Zach, who was praising this show up the butt, and he does not watch anime much. And he said, guys, watch this show. It's fucking phenomenal. And when I watched it, I was just texting him, like, I sat there and watched all 12 episodes within one sitting at my folks' house during vacation. So I highly recommend it. If you have not checked it out, it is a joy to behold. And if they get a season 2, I will be hyped for it.
Wow, that's amazing. I really need to get back to that show. I only
It's
watched
so
the first
good.
episode, so I need to go do more.
It's really good. And where, like, Cass was at episode 3, I believe, it takes its time to explain the world and the characters as well as what they face.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, because I'm going to be honest, the first 3 episodes I watched, I was pretty bored.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. I'm going to watch more of it this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yes.
hear great things
I am
about it.
surprised, though. Like, I knew you liked the show, but I didn't expect it to be your, like, number 1 of the year. That's fantastic.
Well, I wanted to try and cater this list to shows that I would recommend to stand out in their own unique field. I have,
but they need to be what you love the most. So if that's your number 1, you love the most show, then yeah.
I felt as though in this year of a show of great shows, I feel as though this is another show that is like, I loved what it did and what it set out to do, and again, you could it's so different. It's all CG, and it took them years to make this show, apparently. And if they get a season 2, I have a feeling it'll be like 3 or 4 years before they get a season 2, because it's just so well done.
That's really cool.
Do
And
want
what it
more
does.
of this.
It's so good.
I'm actually considering buying the source just to find out what's going on.
I'm so curious.
But yeah,
I kind of
it's kind of like episode 4 is where things really start to happen that really get your attention, and you get more of that world building going on. So yeah.
We'll definitely save that for a review that will come up at some point in the future.
That may have to be a full host review, because I'm going to hop on that now.
Good.
Look what you did, Craig. You ruined everyone.
I'm sorry. Have you noticed a trend with all my shows, though? They're all like world-building, serene ones.
So if I put Arrow Manga Sensei as my number 1, does that mean everyone's going to watch it again?
So, only if John and Craig get off their butts and watch Rakugo Shinju. Because
okay, that seems fair.
we need
That
all
seems
of
really
this.
fair.
We need all
Honestly,
of
I'm more behind everybody watching Rakugo Shinju than honoring my stupid joke.
Hey, I'm good
Please
for all.
watch Rakugo Shinju.
Just please. Oh, God.
Please.
So good, so underrated. Oh, okay, but yes.
Anyway,
thank you all for listening. This has been episode 46 of Any Chat Box. Obviously, if you are new to this podcast or you're a current listener, you can hit us up on social media, twitter.com/the AnyChatBox, if I recall correctly. Yes, I am double checked, and I am correct. You can also hit us up at email at anychatmail@gmail.com. Again, that is anychatmail@gmail.com. And if you wish to donate some hot cash ones and your Kingdom Hearts of Hearts, you can hit us up on Patreon, patreon.com/anychatbox. Obviously, if you're listening to this, we can be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and SoundCloud, and we have video forms of the podcast that go up on our YouTube each and every week. And if you have been paying attention, it has now been a full year since we've been doing this podcast. Thank you all for listening. And again, if you are new, stay tuned. We have a part 2 of the end of the year 2017 and anime coming up for you, as well as more reviews, more impressions, and more hot takes in the anime industry.
Woo!
Yes!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Tune in next part for when me and John get to spout about the things that we love and more things about what all of us love.
Yes. Alrighty. Until next time, y'all.
Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Oyasumi!
Bye-bye.